Let's discuss the extraordinary young organs, particularly the bones, blood vessels, gallbladder. The bones were compared to a trunk in the Yellow Emperor's Classic of Internal Medicine. Chapter 10 of the Spiritual Axis says, the bones are like a trunk. Thus, from this point of view, bones obviously have the same function as in Western anatomy. However, in Chinese medicine, the bones are more than a structural framework of the body. The bones are the cavity that houses the marrow, and as such, they are also functionally related to the kidneys. Moreover, the bones are considered to be like an organ. In Chinese books mention exhaustion of the bones. For example, chapter 17 of the sample question says, the bones are the palace of marrow. If a person cannot stand for too long or walks in a wobbly way, it means that the bones are exhausted. In clinical practice, tonification of the bones can be achieved through the kidneys. The bones, like all the other extraordinary young organs, are also related to the kidneys and the kidney essence. They are considered one of the extraordinary young organs because they store bone marrow. If kidney essence and marrow are deficient, the bones lose nourishment. They cannot sustain the body, and there will be inability to walk or stand. In clinical practice, the relationship between the kidneys and bones is very important, as a decline of kidney essence may cause osteoporosis in the elderly. During the menopause, tonification of the kidneys may slow down the onset of osteoporosis in women. The relationship between the kidneys and bones can be exploited in practice also by treating the kidneys to speed up the healing of bone fractures. For the clinical note, as the kidney controls the bone, the kidneys may be treated to strengthen the bones and prevent osteoporosis. Let's go to the blood vessels. Blood vessels are considered one of the extraordinary young organs because they are like a container for the blood. They're also indirectly related to the kidneys because kidney essence, the Jing, produces marrow, which contributes to the producing blood, and also because the original Qi, the human Qi of the kidneys, contributes to the transformation of the food Qi into blood. Apart from these, the blood vessels are primarily influenced by the heart, as this governs blood and controls blood vessels, but also by the lungs, as they control all channels and vessels. The functions of the blood vessels are: they houses blood and are the vehicle for the circulation of Qi and blood. They transport the refined food essence, Qi and blood, all over the body. Next, the blood vessels house the blood and are the vehicle for the circulation of Qi and blood. According to chapter 17 of the simple question says, the blood vessels are the palace of blood. Chapter 30 of the spiritual axis says, the blood vessels contain nutritive Qi so that it does not spill out. Next, the blood vessel transport the refined food essence, Qi and blood, all over the body. Chapter 63 of the spiritual axis says, the blood vessels are the passageway of the middle burner. Thus, blood vessels transport the refined food essence, Qi and blood produced in the middle burner all over the body to nourish all tissues. Although it is blood that moves in the blood vessel, it relies on the power of Qi to circulate. Stagnation of Qi or blood affects the blood vessels and causes stasis. Cold also easily affects the blood vessels, causing stasis. Chapter 39 of the simple question says, cold can invade the blood vessels, cold makes them contract and causes pain. For the functions of the blood vessels, we have summary: they houses blood and are the vehicle for the circulation of Qi and blood. Next, they transport refined food essence, Qi and blood all over the body. Let's go to the gallbladder. The gallbladder is considered one of the extraordinary young organ because unlike the other young organs, it stores bile, which is a pure fluid. The main significance of the gallbladder being one of the extraordinary young organ is on the psychological level. Firstly, the gallbladder differs from the other young organ in that it is the only one that stores a pure substance, the bile, and does not deal with food, drink, or waste products. For this reason, on a psychological level, the gallbladder affects our capacity of making decisions and our courage to act on decisions. Secondly, the gallbladder is positioned as the young aspect of the liver, has psychological implications as the chief of the gallbladder. This being a young organ gives the ethereal soul, the hun, the capacity for movement. As we have seen, the ethereal soul provides movement to the mind, the shen, and is the source of inspiration, creativity, project, plans, aims, life dreams, sense of direction and purpose. Thank you for your attention.